Hello and welcome back to Deja-Review once again. So today we review a can of Budweiser each.
Coated in pre.
Today we review Pierce Brosnan's second outing. It's Tomorrow Never Dies. All in all, this should be a better review because we like this film a lot more.
Yeah.
This was the first Bond film where people started to think Brosnan was rotten as Bond because his first film got acclaim, GoldenEye.
Yes.
A lot of people didn't like this. Originally I thought that The World Is Not Enough was actually probably a bit better than this, but after watching both...
I've never thought that.
No?
No.
Just get straight in it. Starts with a normal gun barrel, happy as Larry, opens up in the snow.
Indeed. A Russian military arms bazaar out in the mountains.
But it's not a bizarre start, it's a very Bondish start. Apart from the fact that Bond's nowhere to be found. It's a lot of jibber jabber about encoders.
Encoders and missiles and what a jiggery pokery.
MI6 are in what I guess is London, looking at this through about 5,000 cameras that are set up, showing images, and they find Henry Gupta.
But he does look like a scumbag.
Basically he's an expert in techno-terrorism, invented it they said I think. Gupta's got this encoder, which we don't know too much about yet, but it can put off satellites of ships and that. You know that Bond's there, his code name's White Knight.
White Knight, 4 minutes to impact, get out of there.
Black King to White Bishop, authorization to fire.
There's a lot of code names going on. And
there's a lot of disagreeing with him and M.
My man isn't finished.
Get your man out of there. His job is over.
MI6 tell the Navy to fire a missile on this base to just get rid of everything, but after the missile's been fired, Bond's trying to show them for about 20 seconds there is basically torpedoes there that are nuclear.
Yes, damn it, I know what it is. It's on the screen in front of me. It's a jeep in front of a plane. Those are Soviet SB-5 nuclear torpedoes.
So yeah, the beginning is quite good. You see Bond with it, he opens with a bang, he punches this guy, all hell breaks loose, Bond's shooting up the whole place.
Bullets flying, explosions, left, right and centre.
That
he's placing with his grenades.
Bond knocks out a pilot, takes his place, knocks the other pilot out in the back.
These jets are where the nuclear bombs are.
They're holding the missile. There's another guy chasing them.
Effectively jousting.
It's a game of chicken and Bond flies over him. That place gets wiped out with that missile. Gupta escapes though, he escapes with the encoder. So
both nuclear jets unscathed.
You meant to think Bond's dead though at the beginning. It's heartbreak. For about half a second. A lot of good stuff going on here, to be honest. It's quite good. Can't believe I'm saying this for a Brosnan movie. There's quite a lot of good shots here. The guy in the back of Bond's jet that he knocked out.
Co-pilot wakes up.
And he's got, what is it he's got?
It's the bit of garroting wire.
We see Brosnan's pain face yet again. And noises. That's all taking place, Bond's getting strangled. Somehow, because he's losing control, he loses the other jet and he's underneath it.
Steering with his knees while he tries to break the grapple that the guy behind him has.
And Bond basically ejects the guy behind him, fire them up in a dodgy green screen shot.
And not get decapitated in the process.
Backseat driver.
He would have hit Brozzers' head clean off.
Clean off him. Was that the head off Brozzer?
Is that no Froob's tagline at one point?
It was.
Froobs! Rip their heads off and suck their guts out!
That is the opening. He escapes with the missiles. Gupta's escaped with this encoder.
Got back to MI6 where they get
a wee
voice message.
And then it basically fires into the opening credits with a really cool shot of fire breaking the screen.
A lot of themes of sort of the digital age.
It's quite an interesting visual.
But it's to suit the concept.
Suits the theme well, but the song is not perfect.
Darling, I'm killed. I'm in a puddle on the floor, waiting for you to return.
While being a more Bondish song than Die Another Day,
it's probably it's behind Twine, but it's miles ahead of Madonna. Sheryl Crow just can't reach the notes.
She was a country western singer. She wasn't used to having to match these big loud instruments.
Until the world falls away, until you say.
The instruments were far too loud.
Definitely should have used the end theme.
Yeah, the end theme is spread all throughout the score. I'm going to say this is probably the best Bond score.
I would agree with that, yeah.
It's quite techno in that, but it's not. But
Dying of the Day.
aye, 400 drums a second. There's nothing much can be said about it. It's quite a good opening sequence. The song isn't brilliant, but a lot of good visuals. And then it opens up out at sea.
China Sea, I believe.
Yet again, Bond is nowhere to be seen.
With HMS Devonshire,
But-
part of Her Majesty's fleet. Just surveilling, I suppose.
They think that they're in international waters.
And they are.
They are, but because the villain Gupta, who works for
Away in
another
some-
villain we'll see in a minute,
Away in some hidey hole.
he's got the
encoder.
encoder which is putting their signal off,
Yeah.
which shows that they're in international waters when really they're in Chinese private territorial waters basically. They see what he's programmed them to see.
Yeah.
The Chinese send out Migs to tell them, get out of
Right,
here.
we mean business.
So this is where we should explain this bit, because this is probably the biggest plot comes in.
Yeah.
The main villain of this movie is Elliot Carver, played by Jonathan Price, who is hammy and brilliant in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, he's my favourite Brosnan villain. He's not the
He gets
best.
hammier as the movie goes on.
I don't think so.
When he's getting hammier, the villain is supposed to get maybe a bit more
Menacing, like
menacing, but
Aye.
he plays it so ham that it just...
ham and eggs, basically.
It's a good villain.
He's got a stealth boat out in the China Sea,
Mm-hmm.
scoping them now, basically.
The biggest, blackest boat we've ever seen.
Yeah, if somebody went out, as you said, to light a fag
Aye.
out in the deck,
Go for a
they'd
breather.
see this massive whale-looking thing
Aye,
or
it
whatever.
does look like a big basking shark, just like jaws above the water.
So he's operating a scheme here with his crew in a stealth ship to cause mayhem. He's trying to get
He's
the
trying to get the English to fight the Chinese,
Chinese.
and the Chinese to fight the English while
So he's
making it look...
he's evoking the war.
Delicious.
It's just a warning just now, but he's firing into this ship and eventually sinks it with a drill. He's causing basically World War III between Britain and China here, and he's doing it all so he can sell his newspaper before and above everyone else. That is the whole intro. The ship goes down, the stealth boat sinks it, but everyone thinks it's the Chinese because he prints it in his newspaper. And then you see a kind of clip of Carver thanks Gupta, but there's one bit that's quite brutal where there's survivors from it all.
who come to the docking part of the stealth boat.
And the main henchman of the film, Stamper. I like him in it. He's, I'll put it this way, I think he does actually stand out a lot.
Yeah, well,
a lot of
he's
people
like
think
a-
he's not very good, but
He's like a Jaws with etiquette.
and he's loyal to a fault to Carver, which makes it
Yeah,
a real
makes
change.
him dangerous.
So he goes out and shoots all the survivors,
Mm-hmm.
and Carver prints it as 17
Sailors
survivors murdered.
Murdered.
And that's it. You see that a war is starting, and we get a bit of Carver in a room with these big screens typing away in a 1997 iPad.
Gentlemen and ladies, hold the presses. This just in. It seems there's 24 hours a day.
Hammy dialogue, but it's good from Carver, and it cuts to Bond, who's in Oxford,
Yes.
brushing up in a little Danish. He's in
Oh, I
for the-
know, but I believe he says that he's studying a new tongue.
God knows what he can be.
Brush up on a little Danish.
Yeah.
Just find him in bed with a pastry.
She's not very careful with what she's showing on the screen for
Aye.
a 12 rated movie.
Just told they were careful enough about protection.
Jeg vil våge at påstå, at de er et rent naturtalent.
Også en fornøjelse til netop Pokémon.
At de er et rent naturtalent.
Vores miljømester.
Aye, because it looked like they were going at it here.
Aye, I know. Might well have been.
So Bond gets a phone call that we're
Aye.
sending a fleet to China. War is
Yeah.
starting. Bond said
Moneypenny basically tells him, look, hurry up and empty.
he does after a wee bit of foreplay with him and Moneypenny. No, I wouldn't say that.
Don't ask. Don't tell.
Back to MI6.
And his
M's
ass-
in the room with the General and the
Prime Minister, who is a slothy one.
Yeah, he does look off a sloth, like.
So they
A
basically
sympathy
say,
casting, I think.
basically the show, Bond shows the newspaper tomorrow to them all, and they say that we've no choice, we're sending a fleet to China in 48 hours.
M, you have 48 hours to investigate.
They know that it's Carver because he owns that paper tomorrow.
But because his hands in the pockets are basically like every kind of world leader, they can't really tell the PM about it because then he'll basically tell him.
Nothing much happened. He gets his briefing with some really weird innuendos and a moving car for a change.
Yeah, I think the scriptwriters thought it was subtle innuendo.
For Americans, it probably is.
Remind her. Then pump her for information. You'll just have to decide how much pumping is needed, James.
If only that were true of you and I, Moneypenny.
Pump either means you've nearly shot yourself.
Yeah,
And then we see Bond in Hamburg in an airport where he's waiting to get his car from
Q, Desmond Llewellyn.
Yeah. Is it a sports car? Is it a supercar? Nope.
Remote control car.
It's a remote control family saloon.
Your new BMW 750.
4-door, massive. Could barely park it. In fact, he can't park it in this film. This is where we come to probably my favourite gadget of the Brosnan era. The remote control car. It is out there, ridiculous, almost as bad as an invisible car in some ways, that he's got all these buttons controlling.
Yeah, and I think
it's far more
I think it
believable.
maybe speaks to the car's advantage that it's not a souped up sportsman thing, because then it would have been a bit too ridiculous.
It's a really funny scene with Q. Desmond Llewellyn's at his oldest. Somehow he looks 10 years older here than he does in The World Is Not Enough. I think it's the red that just makes him look like a milk bottle.
Sort of draining
the life out of him. Anyway, short it is, he gets a phone which controls his car, so it's got everything. Bond shows him how it's done. Nearly kills the both of them in the process.
Think we understand each other?
Grow up, 007.
We have wee one-liners here and there, and then it cuts to night time for Carver's 1997 carvercom.com UK. Basically he's getting together with everyone who admires him. And he's
highfalutin types.
He doesn't even know who's coming because Bond comes as a banker. You see him talking shite.
Simply because Sir Angus Black, the great British beef baron, lost £10,000 to me in a game of poker and refused to pay up.
Absolute shite matter to a couple of women that are way more attractive than he could ever.
Bond gets introduced to him here, and we also meet Wei Lin here, who's the Bond girl.
Played by Michelle Yeoh.
You can tell that she's in the same mission as Bond. She works for the Beijing Bureau.
The way they both talk to each other when they have that quick exchange, Bond and Wei Lin,
they know.
It gives you the sense of, oh, right, okay.
These two are in it, they know they're in it, they kind of do their own thing.
Exactly what kind of banking do you specialise in, Mr. Bond?
Hostile takeovers.
We should mention that Carver's wife is there, Paris Carver, played by Terry Hatcher. And Bond has had a previous relationship with her. So he goes up and tries to woo her again, gets a EastEnders-esque scalp to the face basically.
Something came up.
Something always came up.
And how are you, Paris?
Much better now. We're even. Tell me, James, do you still sleep with a gun under your pillow?
And they exchange a bit. You find that she's changed a lot since marrying him. Doesn't drink the same drink. He's still sticking to his vodka martinis. And she asked, do you still sleep with a gun under your pillow? Now you need to remember this line because it comes up later. Carver's looking on this whole time. Well, she breaks ice with him, says that he was her flatmate in Zurich. That doesn't work. A lot of nonsense. He was dating a flatmate apparently.
Yeah, I think she sort of she knew it wouldn't work, so she just had to change how she knew him.
But Bond isn't subtle here at all. He's saying all sorts to him.
Or disinformation. Say if you wanted to manipulate the course of governments, or people, or even a ship.
So he knows that he's basically started this whole war. Carver, within minutes, sends big heavies to come and wipe him out, basically.
So when all these big heavies come down to speak to Bond, and it's just obvious to both of them, somebody wants to leather him.
He knows he's going to get beat up here. And he does it in a soundproof room, which...
The door is closed twice.
Yeah.
And I've offered my services as an impartial...
It's a soundproof room, Mr. Bond. Nobody hears you scream.
I'm going to admit, I don't like this fight. It's very heavy on sound effects. He gets punched about first, it's probably a stunt man.
Yeah.
He's down on the floor and one of the heavies just
puts him right in the arse. Took a penalty kick right up his jacksie.
He wants to know why.
You put a jam sandwich in a bag and put a shovel to it.
Somebody takes a fly punch at him and hits his own goon.
Gets his own man in the
Then
face.
Bond.
Bond decides to turn the tables on them. It's just a silent fight with Bond slamming people in pianos and all that.
So you think the glass would be massive
Exactly.
if he can't hear it? But no, they break through it. And then the fight, one of the guys gets hit by a lamp, and then the other guy, he gets like a big ashtray or something on his head.
But before the last guy's knocked out, that's when he manages to get on his wee walkie-talkie and call.
At this time, Carver is
leading his press conference to
he's on air.
As many people.
He's showing everyone he's got power, he'll do good for the people. His newspaper's all good. After Bond's beat them up, he takes one look at Carver saying his speech and thinks, I'm putting him off here. So he's in the perfect room to do it. All he does is walks up to a door, switches a few switches, and Carver goes psychedelic style.
Striking a blow for freedom at every turn. Yeah.
Station break.
That is the goal of the Carver Media Network. What's happening?
We've lost power. We're off the air.
I just don't give a fuck.
We're off the air. Meine Damen und Herren, ladies and gentlemen, please stay calm. There's no need to go for the exit.
Shit, fuck outsiders. Pace one.
It's got a good bit here where he fires.
He does get a bit apoplectic.
He fires one of his PR.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
You're fired. Get out of my sight.
She can't figure it out. She just says we're off the air. He says get lost, you're fired.
Yep.
You're giving me no good information here. We should say his wife is standing watching this whole ceremony basically, and she knows when it goes off that Bond's done this. So that all goes down. Carver's very unhappy. Basically we see one shot, a brief shot that I quite like of Bond sitting alone.
Back in a hotel room.
Kind of shows how lonely the job is in a way. He's sitting there waiting for someone to come and kill him basically.
That's basically it, yeah. Carver kind of confronts his wife again. It's like, okay, how do you know him really? And then
he sends her.
This basically sends her to get to know him. Go and get information off of him that you can give back to me.
So she goes to Bond's hotel.
I think they both sort of know one or both of us is probably going to get assassinated.
Bond's kind of hoping it's him, to be honest.
I think so.
Halfway through the film he's ready to die.
I'm ready to die, but no till after I get my that king. He gets it too. He gets it.
So he gets it on while Carver finds out from CCTV footage
from Gupta
that his wife knows Bond.
Knows him.
Carver finds out via CCTV footage of her saying, do you still keep a gun under your pillow? A totally different recording of it.
Tell me, James, do you still sleep with a gun under your pillow?
Tell me, James, do you still sleep with a gun under your pillow?
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
You're fired. Get out of my sight.
Anyway, he finds it out and he says, I think it's time we set an appointment with the doctor. At this point, you don't really know what he means, but you kind of know what he means.
Something menacing, yeah. Beer's kicking my arse.
So Bond wakes up with a carpet in his chest. Paris is saying,
no horse.
Jesus. No.
Okay, so they both wake up after however long they were at it.
All night.
All night long, like Lionel Richie.
She says, I've got to get back to him.
Yep.
But before I go, I'm going to tell you how to get into his printing office.
Without being seen. How she would know that,
Gives him
I don't know.
No, but she gives him a head start in his mission, what he's got to do now. She goes away. A brief shot that is really good of Carver just sitting, basically contemplating, I've got to kill my wife over this kind of thing. So Bond sneaks into his newspaper printing press. You see there's goons everywhere.
It's a well protected place.
His main goal here is to get the encoder for Gupta, and it's in Gupta's office. So he sneaks down there after crouching, nailing his arse.
A lot of dugging down for shit.
We're told that this satellite that's made of polystyrene is worth unbelievable stuff.
Yep.
What do we do with the satellite?
Send this thing off to the launch site, and be careful. It's worth $300 million. You break it, you bought it. Understand?
After they leave, a couple of henchmen and Gupta leave, Bond uses his wee gadget to break open the door. He sneaks into that office, Bond, and he sees a portrait of the satellite up on the wall. Behind it is a safe. He uses his fingerprint scanner to get into it in his phone, which is Pretty clever.
Good thing it wasn't a combination lock.
He'd be screwed. He opens it up to find porno mags, cocaine. I think a needle was in there as well.
Probably.
Gupta
Soul
stash.
stash and an encoder.
Somehow, I don't know how deep pockets he's got, but he puts it in his suit pocket. You need to remember it, his suit's open, I think.
Yes,
First time that
I
happened.
for it.
But before he gets out there, he hears a noise, Wayland's breaking in.
I hear something that sounds like a dentist drill for the other side of the door.
She's going in the main door. Bond shuts the door before
At this point, like goons are coming, she's like, okay, get
so
the fuck.
Bond shuts the door.
She
and
bolts, he shuts the door.
He
And
puts in a combination with his gun.
yeah. He just sort of rattled.
He just rattled a combination up. A gunfight ensues with him running away, shooting.
Make sure to knock over that very, very expensive satellite.
Polystyrene satellite. Right. She's not even got a gun. She's got clips walking vertical down a wall.
That wee waving kind of.
Aye.
Kind of Jackie Chan coming, I thought.
So Bond's getting shot at, but no bullets hitting him, of course. He escapes away, come in, and he ends up in the printing press with two goons. Well, one goon, I think, a guy that just works there, I think. A guy that's just doing his job.
Yep.
But there's a big guy who puts up...
A better fight than
the other guy. Bond gets the better of him.
Yep.
I think he just knocks him out.
I think
and this
so.
midget man comes up.
Wee midget man in a big blazer.
Bond turns round to backhand him.
Backfists him.
Basically catches just the top of his head. A few sound effects later, he's in the printing
press. Thrown out the printing press.
But I don't get it because you see the blood coming from top and he's away down below. So it's shredded one of his arms and then it's coming back up on him.
Maybe. Maybe.
Bond basically escapes out there. He's casually trying to walk out when the loudest bullet ever comes shattering above his head.
It did sound more like a shotgun at close range.
Bond runs out, jumps on a
plank of wood with wheels.
He jumps on one of them to a Bond theme you could dance to. Makes a forklift driver crash. Must have scraped his elbows to hell.
Yeah, he rolls out from underneath it.
But he's not injured, the suit's perfect. Gets in his BMW, it's parked outside. Gets a phone call for Carver. It's a brand new phone. Carver phones him, says you've got two things that belong to me.
The red box, Mr. Bond. And my wife in your hotel room.
Bond knows Paris is in his hotel room, basically.
Where she had previously left, so he's like, okay,
so he's dumped her back there, basically.
Alright.
You see kind of trucks coming in, like a tow truck and other cars. You know that these are Mary's goons. Bond goes into his hotel room.
Yep. You're thinking it's just this the telly. Well, it is the telly, but you think maybe this is live.
There's a videotape saying that Paris was found dead
in a hotel room.
So while he's up kissing her, says that she was found with the body of an unidentified man. That's when Bond realises it's got to be me. Turns round and we see probably one of the oddest figures to appear in a Bond film.
He looks like a teabag, he looks like a PG tip.
He's got quite a bit of weight in him, but he's a skeleton. I think the skin's falling off and the skeleton's coming out.
He's got very sunken eyes. He's a comic relief, but not in the usual Bond sense.
Yeah, he's basically sitting Bond down, saying he's going to kill him. He's an expert in this. Boasting all sorts with a questionable German accent.
I am an outstanding pistol marksman. Take my word for it, yeah?
All the time they're trying to break into Bond's car. He's set his security level to plus 5,000.
That's another thing the phone can do, is say how jacked up your car's defence system is when you leave it.
The encoder's in his car.
Yeah, like the handles are electrified and the windows are just bulletproof bell in hell. Can't get in with sledgehammers or crowbars, shooting at it, nothing.
They have to tell Stamper, tell him they can't get into the car. Stamper goes into Kaufman's ear just as he's about to kill Bond, puts him off the shot. So he has to ask him, how do you open your car?
Yeah.
It seems there is a red box in your car. They can't get to it. They want me to make you unlock the car.
It's kind of an awkward thing where he's having to tell this guy, okay, this is how you get your thing, while I sit here and wait for you to kill me.
Yeah, this is Bond's escape.
I can do it on my phone. It's like, no, I don't trust you when I do something with that phone.
So he knows that he's going to take it off him.
Tell me what to do.
And he tasers himself.
He takes his own gun around him with the guy's gloved fingers still on him.
Shoots him in a pretty brutal, point blank shot at the head.
Wait! I'm just a professional doing a job.
Me too.
She's
very embarrassing. I feel like an idiot. I don't know what to say.
And then has another wee quick snogging
Well,
of the now dead
corpse,
woman. He does that quite often, kissing deeper.
So he escapes, Stamper sees him coming out, looks at him and thinks
that he's the guy that taught me how to kill people's dead.
This guy means business. I like this scene because it's when Stamper realises that he's basically a better agent than Kaufman was. Bond gets back down to where he parked his car to find all these big, bald, skinny, all sorts of henchmen about him. Try to open it. But Bond gasses him, basically a smoke screen at the side of the car. Gets his phone out, drives it forward, opens the back window and jumps in it while it's driving.
I think this was my favourite Bond chase like altogether.
Yeah, it's really good. There's so many gadgets here. There's one bit that's kind of silly though when he puts the spikes out that burst the tyres. He ends up going over it, but he re-inflates his tyres. The thing is, Paris is just dead.
Yeah.
And he's as happy as
Larry.
Larry.
Smiles with his remote control car.
He's as happy as Larry when his tyres re-inflate. Yeah. Q's outdone himself. Bond's got a gadget for every moment basically. He's even got a wee saw that comes up from the BMW badge.
Which I do like.
Expert product placement.
Oh yeah.
Manages to escape an explosion when a guy fires a bazooka through both shattered windscreens. Then Bond ends up on one of the top floors.
As good as you, baby, you're the best.
Then Bond ends up on one of the top floors, jumps out the car. He's out with the encoder. He crashes, they all still think he's in the car.
And drives right through this piss-thin material wall.
Drives his car right off of the top floor of the parking lot and into the Avis
across
car
the street
rental.
and into a car rental place right in the street below, endangering a lot of lives. So that was reckless.
It's lucky that Avis had no customers that day because if they did. Then I think the movie slows down here pretty drastically at this point. We cut to the US Air Base in China. We meet here Jack Wade.
The Brosnan need his answer to Felix Leiter.
Next week's episode, you would think it was a different character basically. It was almost like he was chopped in as a cameo here.
Yeah, basically.
And they gave him a stupid Hawaiian shirt at a freezing cold airbase.
Like, it just looked like they just picked him up off the street.
Anyway, he's fine in it. You find out here that this encoder was responsible for putting off.
Yeah, the Americans were just sort of keeping quiet about it because the device itself was a really, really closely guarded national secret.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's the missing encoder! How the hell did you get that?
Bond finds out where it was that the Devonshire actually sank and dives down to see if the missiles have been taken out from the ship.
Yes.
So we see here a halo jump. Back in the arse of the plane is open, everyone else is breathing the air.
Totally fine.
He's got the oxygen mask on. He's spitting out one-liners about his marriage.
Sounds like my first marriage!
I
do like that entire sequence of that shot.
I kind of lose interest at this bit of the underwater.
I still like it, but it's sort of weird.
They've stole a missile for the missile room. Wei Lin appears there, but I don't get this. He spent all this time getting an encoder, so only he should know.
So how does she know?
She's one step ahead of him.
Maybe she was just sort of keeping a close eye on him.
Following him.
It could have been explained a bit better.
There's always loose writing in this. The rocks are all collapsing at this. This boat's fell on a rock.
It's feeling like sort of a big heavy reef bed or something and it's caving into front.
As soon as they get down there, this thing just caves in.
And they get out.
So they get back up to the surface.
Kind of nondescript fishing boat. Wei Lin flags down.
Don't speak a word of English. Wei Lin flags them down.
Well, why would they, really?
A harpoon goes through him at the speed of light. Quite a cool shot.
The wee man that was talking to her.
Where Stamper and all these guys appear for as anybody's guess. They take Bond and Wei Lin in a helicopter. Give them some new clothes.
I think so.
Cuff him. They're flying to another Carver building. They're sick of him, sick of his face, been everywhere.
Plastered everywhere.
They're in the building, General Chang walks by, so there's like high-end stuff's happening between Chinese and Carver. They end up in this big room. Carver's setting up his new headquarters. And
there's all these boxes, all these crates of like Chinese artwork and a wee box of fancy looking cutlery which comes into play. So with Bond and Wei Lin handcuffed together,
they get to meet Carver. I think this is his best scene.
It is.
They've written his dialogue, so he's got like so many lines that almost better Bond, because Bond's got a few good ones as well.
Oh yeah, Bond's got some zingers.
Words are the new weapons. Satellites, the new artillery. And by midnight tonight, I'll have reached and influenced more people than anyone in the history of this planet, save God himself. And the best he ever managed was a Sermon on the Mount.
You really are quite insane.
It's just, they're sick of him by this point. And basically he's saying that he's going to be better than God. He'll have reached more people than God. They're not having it. And then, what is it, chakra torture?
Mr. Stamper is a protege of the late Dr. Kaufman, who was schooling him in the ancient art of chakra torture.
He was like a father to me. Really? Interesting role model. I would have thought watching your TV shows was torture enough.
This feels like an afterthought.
It does. Seems like, oh, this is a thing we could do. It's like, oh, what do the Chinese do? They decorate everything with red, as you'll notice in the movie.
A racism going on here?
The film's just kind of weird with the stereotypes, I think.
Yeah. Carver's flying out of there at this point. Gupta keeps telling him, the chopper's there, get the hell out. But he's...
Get to the chopper!
Imagine if he said that. He's meant to be leaving. Bond thinks, wait a minute, throws one of the chakra torture things into Carver's leg.
Stamper's like,
Carver's like, they've killed him.
Exactly. Then he's like, has not much effect.
Nothing. We see a lot of machine gun fire, spray bullets everywhere.
I think the gun is doing most of it, because he's jumping about and he's obviously not got the other hand free because he's cuffed to Wei Lin.
Jump out a window, jump onto a ledge. They find like a toolbox sitting in this ledge, wrap rope run about them both bases.
Yeah, the rope that was keeping the big banner secured.
Meanwhile, we see a kind of round shot of the building and it's pretty bad CGI.
The corner of this building is fake. It's a real building apart for the corner of it.
And then you see that in the next shot there's no pillar there. You think they'd CGI in a pillar for the next scene, but they don't.
Yeah.
And this is where they jump off the building and down a banner, and this bit gets nothing really said about it. I think it was made to be one of the highlights of the movie. It's okay. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Then they break
through into the office building by kicking down the window.
So it's lucky that the pillar in the middle came away, otherwise, because it could have broke one of their horns if it had. Horns. That's Hans Moulton. They end up
running through this building, get to the front.
And of course they've got to drive a BMW bike because they seem to own all the placement in the movie.
People doing product placement all the time. I also don't understand why.
Budweiser.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Every time I drink Budweiser, I drink Budweiser, I drink Budweiser, I drink Budweiser.
There's nothing even in mine. This is another chase. It almost seems this one's almost like a chase for chase sakes. Quickly after.
Yeah, it's a chase for chase sakes, but it's a good chase. So it's the two of them
handcuffed together
on a one-person bike, trying to kind of figure out like how do we do this properly.
They keep switching between. She goes in front of him.
She's side saddling on the front. Both their arms like kind of over.
So they're driving about, Range Rovers following them.
Yep.
Fireworks going off everywhere.
Two narrow Chinese markets.
So I was saying, this chase is kind of everything plus the kitchen sink, basically. Yeah. Everything is going off in this chase, to the point where there's a chopper chasing them, and it even hovers millimetres above the ground, almost vertical with its blades breaking through everything.
It's like a sort of like one of those wire strimmer things. They take in kind of more narrow alleyways up onto the rooftops.
So they're up there for a while getting shot at, and it ends up that they're kind of cornered in this room.
Get on the back of the bike!
What, are you trying to protect me?
No, I need to balance the bike. Get on the back!
And jumps between one building to another in a pretty famous shot of him jumping over the helicopter, and it breaks through into a brothel. Which
I don't think it's a brothel because there's only a couple of people. It's just a couple that are just. Well, it's not two guys. Two people at it.
It's in the background, but
there's a quick glimpse.
If you're watching in a big screen, you can see pretty clearly. So he comes out of there and he ends up getting cornered again in an alleyway with a clothesline basically above him.
Yep.
The chopper's there hovering again. There's a guy hanging inside
the chopper with the gun cocked and ready to go. There's plenty of opportunity, plenty of time for everyone in that chopper to go out and just pump them for the lead. It takes the hook from the washing line.
All this time this guy must be sitting there.
Waits until Bond's beneath him, sliding the bike under the...
And like another 20 shot,
As
which
it
cuts rapidly. He starts shooting as he's under him. Bond chucks the washing line
onto the tail.
They dive into a well, and then you see what is
prominent iceberg.
An absolutely fantastic shot of 4 dummies sitting in a helicopter. Well done. I mean, well done. What is that? Simpsons? It's not even like it was like Crash Test dummies. It was like mannequins for a show, just sitting there like that. But it cuts from the shot of the dummies to a baby's arse.
Just a
shower.
Bathing area.
Yeah.
So they two are still cuffed together taking a shower under a drain pipe. They start having talking. There's a wee bit about the kind of
off the cuff. I thought we'd link up. No, that's
aye.
She takes her earring out, uncuffs herself.
Behind the back, uncuffs.
It's a wee gadget of her own. And chains him to a pipe about as thin as a stream of piss.
It's quite funny though. By doing that though, he's knackered the water for everybody else.
Aye, because it's spraying it.
Spilling everywhere.
She runs to, oh wait a minute, her hideout is exactly where they ended up basically. She's got a hideout there. But yeah, she gets into one of her hideouts where she's got all her gadgets. Bond is piss wet through, back into his
through the streets.
Back to his blue jersey.
Clocks the building she went at 8 and sees that another jeep has pulled up outside and a guy in a suit across the road going, right, fucking get in there.
So, batters one guy with 2 left hooks. The other guy goes up, fakes it he's got a lighter, and about a scene that lasts, I'd say about 20 seconds when it needed to last one. All the while Waylon is doing some pretty decent moves.
She's doing well on her own. This was the sort of first Bond movie where there was a female lead that was totally capable.
They can
if not more capable than
Natalia in the last film was capable, but
not
kind of sad think that Bond hitting her kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas if he hit Waylon, he'd probably be dead within a minute.
Exactly.
But they kind of saved it because Bond comes in and saves her life at the last minute by tapping a guy's head, and she says that she could have handled it. And he gets treated to some Chinese porn.
God, I dread to think what you're putting in the editor.
He's treated to some Chinese gadgetry, which is actually better than his. This scene's pretty decent really. It's just kind of evolves the plot. They find out where the stealth ship must be. It must be in one of these places. All computers rise, guns rotate round. Bond's arsing a bit with
he's just looking at the toys. Uses the computer to contact her government and MI6 and tell them, okay, right, no, there's a rat here.
So they find out where to go. Bond gets a new gun, a Walther P99 I think it's called.
I think so.
So they gear up. They're meant to believe that he's fallen in love with her, the old usual.
The respect between the two, mutual respect and the sort of camaraderie between the two, that's totally believable.
The love really isn't.
This seems kind of weird. Bond's not the type to go for someone his equal.
So they're out in a wee dinghy, and as soon as night falls they see the stealth ship.
Yeah, that's it.
Bloody clear as day, it's there.
Yeah.
It's massive. Could make any kind of joke.
Waylon's told them before they set on board, it's like, okay, this pouch here, this is where the detonators are.
And he says, we're finishing this together. Nice wee.
I was like, if it enhanced to me, this pouch here is what you need.
Oh, a carpet's what you need. So they put their dinghy.
They put their dinghy in the big gap of this ship.
Basically.
The undercarriage.
And they got to set detonators, didn't they? Everywhere.
He takes one side and
he lets her climb all the other. But if he was on his own, he'd be done. Basically, he'd be ages climbing her. He spots that there's cameras about everywhere, tells her to watch out. She gets caught rapidly and gets her head smashed in.
There's a wee CCTV man.
What is he sitting? He's sleeping or something? Or is
he's just watching something else. I think he's watching football or something like that.
He's watching the World Cup of '97 that never even happened. Hey, we're going, we've been back.
Yep.
There was a bit of malfunction all round. I think we got to the bit with the knife, so he knifes the guy, throws him in the water, Stamper's shooting, he thinks he's killed the guy.
I've killed Bond, that was it, piece of piss.
Carver's got Waylon, he's basically saying that
taunting her, going, all Bond's dead now.
Bond's my new anchor man. Then she goes for a kick and he just comes out with racism.
Just
blatant racism.
Pathetic.
Dougal, there were Chinese people there.
All right, yeah.
Dougal, I wouldn't have done a Chinaman impression if I'd known there was going to be a Chinaman there to see me doing a Chinaman impression.
Why not, Ted?
Because it's racist.
She's been held there. Bond's made his way onto the ship. He's got all sorts. He's got grenades next to big containers and everything. Before long, he's got a gun to Gupta's head, because Gupta's the one setting all this off, and they need him. Press the magic button and Beijing disappears and all this kind of stuff. He's got everything all set up.
Aye.
So Bond's got him at gunpoint. Carver hears that Bond's no dead. He is not happy with Stamps. He's got Gupta down at the very bottom next to the missile. Basically, he's got him at gunpoint. The whole of the ship crowd round while Bond's saying that he can't do this. This is just starting a war for ratings. This is stupid. And then he comes out with a speech. William Randolph Hearst and all that, done all this shit years ago. Carver says that Gupta's outlived his contract. He just puts a bullet in him.
They shoot him, didn't they?
Aye, he just put a bullet in him. Carver says he's got a backup plan. So does Bond. With a watch, sets off this grenade which just blowing the arse of the ship out.
So that's when the HMS, can't remember his name now.
HMS, aye.
The big boat, they're also still floating about China, and then they're asking the Chinese, here's this you?
Aye, it just popped up a few minutes
So
ago.
like, okay, well, they're not in our water just yet. As long as they're out with Chinese waters, they're yours.
It could have been a man in a dinghy.
Yeah, it could have been.
But they say, whatever the hell that is, sink it. There's not that much to really go on about here. Gunfights non-stop here, explosions. Michelle Yeoh goes her own way. She goes into the engine room and just,
I don't know why they done that. They made a point of getting her to...
I think it was the same bit looped every time.
It definitely sounded like the same audio bite.
She's shooting all that. After that, she doesn't have much to do. She's just running about the same as Bond. Bond is a Terminator here.
Oh yeah.
An absolute machine. Carver says,
What are you doing about the girl? Perhaps you consider looking in the engine room.
Bond escapes out of there. The whole ship's abandoned. The guy that called abandoned ship, one of the main...
the first mate, I had that.
Imagine he's still there somehow. He's still up in the control room.
Yeah.
Bond just takes out his machine gun and just splats around, kills the two of them. Carver just a wee pistol whip to the back of Bond's head, gets him done, and doesn't he shut up?
You're too late again, Mr. Bond. It's a bad habit of yours. The missile's fully programmed. It can't be stopped. In a matter of minutes, my plan will succeed. And thanks largely to your efforts, the British Navy will destroy the evidence. And I'll be out of here in a Carver News.
Shut up. He's just spouting. He's spouting all sorts to Bond. Giving Bond the chance
what a
to...
waffle. he's made the villain mistake of monologuing.
You don't do that to Bond, because he's found a control panel,
For
which is the override button
the
for
mega drill.
The mega drill, aye. Sets it off, it just goes right into cover. It must have been set perfectly.
Creeping up the back in the jaws, give the people what they want.
You can tell it's dubbed here when he's kind of shouting.
You forgot the first rule of mass media, Elliot!
And then Carver gets annihilated by a saw with not a
drop of blood. So
even blood on the saw, you didn't need to see splatting even.
Exactly.
All you see is just the control panel kind of coming away of it.
It just seems so... that happened.
So Bond goes to basically defuse the missile.
Yes.
You find out that Stamper's got
the chain all wrapped around
Waylon, puts her in the water. She's down there for a good couple of minutes.
At
least while Stamper and Bond have a fight.
Duke it out.
It's not even a fight, it's a one-way battle.
Oh yeah.
Bond is getting handed to him.
Hopeless here.
After getting battered to high heaven, even stabbing Stamper and everything. Stamper
he's just laughing at it, he's smiling at it.
This is what Renard should have been doing. There's not enough.
Which could have there was room there for something pretty cool, obviously the chakra torches.
That's what I'm thinking. They could have done something at the end with him doing that to Bond, trying to stop him or something. Aye. So he jams a knife in him, puts the missile down on his foot, but because just lucky he did jam the knife in him, because when he's trying to dive off, Stamper grabs his waistcoat.
His flak jacket, Still with waistcoat.
That's what I've got.
His flak jacket,
Aye.
Tea? minus 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
The missile blows up in a pretty cool explosion across the sea.
From under the water,
you see it. He gives her the kiss.
Yeah, I mean,
of
she's
life.
still alive at this point.
2.5 minutes in, probably.
Yeah.
He gets her out. There's a ship looking for Bond because M signalled that it looks like Carver's went down with his ship and all that kind of thing. It's believed they committed suicide. Shoehorned in here is a relationship that did not need to be there with Ray Lynn.
Didn't need to be there at all.
And it's
They're
not
just
even
floating on a bit of wreckage.
So Bond doesn't want saved, he wants to bump Whale in it, a bit of wreckage that would capsize the minute they get going.
Exactly.
But the thing is, when that boat goes away, they're dead.
Aye, they're just out there in the water because he wanted his hole.
It's a bit silly, but it signals the end of the movie, so it's just kind of made up shit just to end it. It does the trick. So right, to sum up, Tomorrow Never Dies, probably the best one that we've done so far. Much better than The World Is Not Enough anyway.
Yes.
And much better than Die Another Day. I don't know if Die Another Day is probably funnier to watch. But this is a good movie. It's not perfect. Not that it's a bad thing, but it seems really by the numbers.
But at the same time, it's like it doesn't feel like your typical sequel, which is just rehash number one.
No, I feel like GoldenEye set up Bond for the 90s and this really took him somewhere almost, like this was a whole new game. The cast in the movie, some big stars in there, Jonathan Pryce is pretty big, he's always good fun. As we've said 100 times.
An enjoyable villain.
Ham and eggs, he's just...
Oh, totally. His weapons are words, so for him to be that kind of wordy...
It's good.
The villain is great.
Gotts Otto is Stamper.
Yeah.
Pretty good. He was just a carbon copy of other Bond villains for the past, Red Grant and all that.
Yes.
But he was good. Gupta,
yeah.
He's so underused. They cut out a lot of scenes.
He might have the backstory of being this magician,
which he is in real life.
Kill people with cards and stuff.
Paris Carver. A lot of people hate her.
Like, I don't think
her action's that good.
Strange. Like, yeah, her acting is
She seems almost like, I don't think she did. I don't think she wanted to be there almost. Wei Lin, I don't like as much as most people do.
I like her. She can definitely fight. She's a lot smarter, a lot more streetwise. I think people don't like her as a Bond girl because there's still that thing of what a Bond girl should be, which she doesn't meet.
Action set pieces and all that were really good. The gadgets in the movie, they weren't the Die Another Day proportions, but they were really... A remote control car is probably about as far as you can go while still keeping it Bondy.
I think the introduction for that car as well, keeping it in with the screwball comedy character of Dr. Kaufman.
Yeah.
Kaufman
was brilliant in this movie.
Like having that immediately before one of the most fun.
Aye. Yeah, so gadgets were brilliant. The phone was probably my favourite gadget.
Totally. But his phone was amazing.
Oh, I was just watching him a pin for the grenade.
Yeah, that was it.
He gets new Walther in it. It was a fun romp, this film, I'd say. Maybe not as good as GoldenEye.
But for this film, I think it was very much, let's make a spy action movie
for the late 90s,
which is fun.
And they done it. Yeah, I'd say this is probably Brosnan's second best. So to sum up, I'd probably give this movie probably an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favourites. I don't know if something's telling me Tomorrow Never Dies was the first Bond movie I watched the full way through and I really enjoyed it. And the score as well.
The score's brilliant, yeah. Best score, I'd say.
Just
a solid fun
characters all round as well.
Yeah. So hope you enjoyed that review.
Yep.
Next one is Brosnan's first, our last Brosnan review.
Yep.
It is probably both our personal favourites. Stick with us. Like, share, subscribe. See you then.